You're on.
I would like to call to order the February 27th, 2024 Columbia Borough Council meeting. Could I have a roll call, please?
Council President Zate.
Here.
Councilperson Kaufman.
Here.
Councilperson Stahl.
Here.
Councilperson Fisher.
Here.
Councilperson Price.
Here.
Councilperson Murphy.
Here?
Councilperson Burghardt.
Here by phone.
Mayor Look.
All right. Would anybody care to offer an invocation?
Nobody's even in there. It's terrifying.
Please, if you would like, please rise for a moment of silence. I got all confused with Mark and the music and. And Eric, please lead us in a pledge.
Absolutely. Pledge of
Allegiance
allegiance
to the
flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Announcement of executive and information sessions. There were none. Are there any additions, deletions, or reorganization of the agenda? I'm not aware of any. Mark's playing with music, so we're going to have a motion to approve the agenda as published.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Price, to approve the agenda as published. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? All right. Next, citizen comments. I don't have a sign-up sheet, but is there anyone that would like to address council? No. All right. Next, could I have a motion to approve the Borough Council meeting minutes for February 13th, 2024?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Price, to approve the Borough Council meeting minutes for February 13th, 2024. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone
Aye.
opposed? Presentation and acceptance of reports. Finance, I would like to acknowledge the finance reports for January 2024. Does anyone have any questions or comments or concerns on those? I thought it's the beginning of the year, so there's not much to show,
Too
and
early.
yeah, it's too early to really see anything, so. Legislation.
Like
Councilperson Murphy.
Yes, this time I'd like to acknowledge the February legislature report that is included in this evening's packet.
Is this the time to discuss this report?
Yes.
We have a lot of outstanding stuff.
Yes, we
Yes.
do.
Excuse me. And I don't understand why it takes so long.
Such as?
We can go down the list. The due date, there's a bunch that say 2024, but there's a bunch that say fall 23, fall, July, August, September, August. Is that this coming year or is that last year?
The fall ones are supposed to be for last year. We'll get the right dates in there.
It
Some of the things we started back then, it just with all the staff changes and everything, we haven't gotten to them all yet.
it just seems that, 3 months may be a stretch, but some of these are a year old.
Food truck's been on there since 2021 almost. I mean, that's just one we
Yes.
talked about with regards to down at the crossings. We just haven't gotten done yet.
Okay.
I mean, have we prioritized these? I mean,
Mhm.
in my mind, the text amendments, we've been waiting for them since 2021. And, you know, we were hoping that they would be queued up and ready to go as soon as the comp plan was adopted, and here we are
Yeah.
months later, and that's still not.
Yeah, I did have a conversation with Mary regarding that, so it'll be on the next agenda for the planning commission to look into. I mean, pretty much it's just text to match the maps, so it shouldn't be a whole lot of work to get those three, put to bed, I believe, personally.
Right.
And there's a couple other, well, about 3 or 4 others here that are, like the Knox box and that, are the low-lying fruit that we should be able to knock those
Yeah.
out pretty quickly. But like I said, the biggest one is gonna be the ordinance, you know.
The nuisance ordinance.
Nuisance ordinance, so
Mhm.
that's gonna take a lot of time.
And the streets, curbs, and sidewalks.
Yes.
Yeah, we blew by that one. The
Derek's
nuisance,
ears perked up.
It's in draft form, it's.
no, not you. We voted last week on our last meeting on sidewalks and stuff. So, that was put on hold for that ordinance change instead of happening. I do have a question on the knock boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Do we require, rental units to have them?
Yeah.
Yes.
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 So the way the ordinance is written right now, it's to gain access into commercial buildings and residential buildings that have a common entrance.
Okay.
So if you had an apartment building that had 5, 6 doors, all had outdoor entranceway, you don't need one. If you have an apartment building that has an entranceway into a hallway that leads to all the doors, you must have one.
Like a common vestibule. Like a common vestibule or something like that.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, and that one says ready for council.
Yeah, that one's drafted and ready. I'm gonna have it on to, if you guys wanna look at it like we normally do, it'll be on, put it on for the workshop, we can work through it, and just make sure it's all good, and then it'll come up, cause that one's been drafted for a while now.
All right.
And, well, that's it.
No, say it. Now's the time.
I really think we ought to, set a priority, but I don't know if it's our decision or if it's legislation.
Well, Kelly and I are meeting now,
Yeah,
we
we-
went down through the whole list, we're trying to get
Yep.
them prioritized. Like a lot of things, the nuisance ordinance wasn't on there. That has, I think for all of us, bumped up to the top saying, we gotta get that one done.
Yes.
There's some other ones in there that, if you look at the amendments to chapter 112 and 166, those were started when we removed the language related to new home sales. However, once we got into it, it's one of those that we realized, no, we can't really do that. We've gotta rip that entire thing apart and rebuild it. And so we're rebuilding both of those chapters now, moving everything that's related to rental properties to 166 where it belongs. Everything that is the duties and responsibilities of the code official stays in 112. And I don't need to explain to you guys, the way the ordinances have been done in the past, there's bits and pieces of stuff all related to housing spread throughout. So I will apologize in part for taking a long time, but I will tell you that we wanna take our time, do them right, so then when we bring them forward, they're complete, and it's taking longer than I would like, but it's just the reality of all the things going on right now, we're just trying to get through them.
Can we maybe add another,
No, Heather won't let me add anymore right now.
can we add another column to this to show the priority?
Yeah, sure.
Low, medium, high,
Yep.
and then group them by
Mhm.
that priority?
It's actually on the chart, I just have the column hidden right
column's
now,
hidden.
because
Yeah.
we gotta redo it, and I didn't,
Well, no, and that's fine. I
So
just
it's
wanna be
there.
able to see them grouped.
it's in the
It's-
Excel table.
Yeah, in some sort of thing, because one thing, that I see was added is the fire department / fire chief, Mark and I talked about that this morning, apparently in our code, it's Borough Council that appoints the fire chief,
Yes.
Yes.
and
We haven't done that in
we
years.
don't do that.
Okay, so I'll explain a little bit of history-wise. When
Yeah.
it was 5 stations,
Right,
the council nominated the fire chief, or
mhm,
put the fire
Now
chief
you
in
have one
place.
station.
Now we're down to 1,
I mean,
because each fire department elected their own chief,
right.
and then one of the 5 chiefs got
He's-
nominated.
Right, they used to rotate it through.
Right,
Which makes sense when you had
Mhm.
5.
Right,
right.
but the other part of it is, like, I was reading through that code this morning, and, like, per our code, if any member of the fire department has a grievance of anything that happens out there, they appeal to Mark.
Should not, I mean, I think that, it's almost like that, golly, that's loud. It's almost like that language was taken, there's a portion of the borough code that is related to paid firefighters.
Right.
The civil service portion, which that would make sense if that was the appeal mechanism. But that is not what you have, and you,
No.
I mean,
No.
those fire departments, even when there were 5 of them, are their own 501c3
Their own
nonprofit
entities.
entities. You, other than providing them with workers' comp insurance and being able to, like, now you can give them tax breaks, right,
Right.
which you guys do.
Right.
You really should not have any involvement in what they
Their-
do.
their
They
management.
are
Mhm.
their own separate entities that, you know, unless you have paid firefighters, then that's a different story, but that is not what you guys have
And,
here.
well, and honestly, I mean, if it came down to it and there was a challenge of something in court, they would actually, because of our code, they could be seen as an entity of the borough
Yeah.
and subject to all, like, open meetings laws and all that kind of stuff, so,
That's
and civil service and all of that
absolutely
stuff.
something we need to.
So we need to, for our protection and theirs, we need to take care of that. All right. Any other questions on legislation? All right, and next personnel, Councilperson Price.
Sorry. I'd like to acknowledge the retirement of Deb Leclerc, and I'd also like to acknowledge the resignation of Teresa O'Donnell.
And we thank them both for their service to the community, for
Absolutely.
Deb for such a long time, and Teresa, while shorter, nonetheless.
Yep.
Thank you.
Is there, Joanne, is there an effective date?
So Deb's last day is this Friday. She will still be an employee up until May 2nd, I believe it is.
Yeah,
She's just using up her
Full-time.
built-up PTO. And Teresa is done next Wednesday, the 6th.
And then we have presentations, 15 minutes, right, Hope?
Got it, 15 minutes. Mark's gonna talk much less.
Actually, I think because we had to reschedule, now you're down to 12 minutes.
Oh.
I had a rash from head to toe and a fever, so I'm glad I wasn't here. So are you.
Yeah, we can share.
we can start the clock yet, dude.
Yes, you're on.
No worries.
No. Thank you. We have the mic on, but it's ungodly loud, so.
Hey Todd, they're handing out the annual report. I'll make sure you get a copy.
Yeah, we'll put it in your bin.
Did you get it digitally? Did you distribute it digitally?
I did
As
not.
For the last meeting?
No, because I pulled it off and I didn't put it back on.
Either we'll put it in your bin or we'll send it home with Peter.
Sounds good, thank you.
Okay, can everybody hear me now?
Yeah.
Well, then move it.
How's this? Is that okay?
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight, on behalf of Susquehanna National Heritage Area. I'm here with Hope Byers and Megan Salvatore, who I just, after how many years, confirmed how to pronounce her last name. So, sorry about that. No, but we're really pleased to be here for the annual report. And you know, it's 8 years ago, last Thursday, I signed an offer letter to Hope to start working here. And the partnership of running Columbia Crossing with the borough is 8 years old, starting this spring. And I think that the borough and the heritage area, we entered into this partnership with a common understanding. that Columbia's success would be our success, and our success would be Columbia's. That it was a joint partnership and effort together. And I think that the annual report and the information we're going to review tonight, I'm going to let Hope and Megan do that. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to step away here in a second. But I think that that report will show you that it's worked, that we've actually had a successful partnership. We've made progress. And as most of you probably know, our staff here has also progressed in the last few months, actually. But I can officially let you know that Hope Byers has moved from Columbia Crossing Director to Vice President of Visitor Engagement for the whole National Heritage Area. Applause from Mark. Yeah. So you're glad to be rid of her on a daily basis,
that
right?
can be taken the wrong way.
You're not rid of her yet, though. And Megan Salvatore.
That's what you're excited about, yeah.
Megan Salvatore, a true native of Columbia.
Yeah, I was not kidding.
Has moved up to Visitor Services Manager, managing Columbia Crossing. So these were efforts, or progress and promotions we were able to make as part of our fully engaging as a National Heritage Area and increasing our capacity and doing more across the region and here in Columbia. And I think their success is going to be Columbia's success too. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Hope to run through things, and Megan. And if you have any questions, I'm going to stick around too.
Yeah, you have to stay. He has to make sure we do this correctly. So the annual report that we present every year, we always kind of start with finances, so I'm going to do the same thing. I always think numbers are kind of hefty, and it's best to get them out of the way. So these are actually on the back of your annual report, and you have a sheet inside that has the details. You'll find the sheet that is individual in there is two-sided. On the 2023 side, you'll find revenues and expenses with a breakdown of what these numbers are. The biggest thing I want to point out here is that for a long time we were working on getting earned income up and finding other revenue sources. And so last year, Columbia's percentage of the revenues was 59%. And I'm happy to report that this year it was 46%. So, you know, we consistently try to find opportunities. I remember at the beginning of 2023, I came and I gave you a budget, and it had a deficit. It was, you know, we presented a budget with a deficit, and you guys were concerned, and I said, I present the worst case scenario, and then I try to make it better than that. And so you'll see that we projected a deficit of 48,000, and we actually had a deficit of 2. And so, you know, it's important to me to continue to make that commitment to you that I present you the information honestly, and I'll do my best to make it better than I project. And so we did that in 2023. And that's because we funded National Heritage Area funding. We told you guys we were expecting to get a bump up in funding in 2023, and that happened. Now, with the transition of staff, we transitioned a lot of the way that our budget works and the way that our finances are going to work moving forward. We actually had a meeting with Mark Stivers already about this, but in the 2024 budget, you'll see that the amount of revenues and expenses for Columbia Crossing has gone significantly down, $75,000 less that we kind of regionalized in the National Heritage Area budget. There was times in which staff that was stationed at Columbia Crossing was doing regional work in addition to Columbia work. And so what we've done now is basically absorb those tasks and responsibilities into the larger budget. And so what you're getting now as a Columbia Crossing budget is specific to the direct services that are there. There's things that I'm going to report on in future years that maybe aren't in this budget, like Canoe Mobile, which is supported by the National Park Service and is a field trip offering about a couple thousand students, a field trip that happens in Columbia River Park, but it's paid by the Park Service, and rather than moving that money into Columbia to then move it back out to then pay somebody else, we've decided it just makes sense to stay out of the Columbia Crossing budget. And so if anybody has questions on what that looks like, I think when I come to report next year, it'll make a lot of sense, but that's the explanation for where all of that has gone. So you'll still see me at Columbia Crossing. You'll just see me less because of the nature of my position, but there's still a full-time manager there. It's not like services or direct services has changed. This is also from last year. I brought up the 2023 successes because at the end of every annual report, I write you a list of goals for the next year, and I'm happy to say that all of these things were finished this year. Some of them are projects that don't go away, like the Veterans Memorial Bridge Rehabilitation Project, which we continue to engage with and think about every day. But our reach out to the business community for outdoor recreation was a success. We continue to partner with like MAC on downtown things. We expanded Tadpole Time to Our Lady of the Angels and also worked with CAP. So when we write goals, I'm also very strategic about whether or not we can succeed in those. And so in the big perspective for 2023, this was our highest visitation year to date. We had 3,000 more visitors than we did in the same amount of time in 2022. And the biggest change that I mentioned in our annual report is that visitation in January, February, and March is up 30% from our first year operating the center. And visitation in October, November, and December is up 40% since 2017. And so offering community programs, allowing the space to be open in the off season and creating it and partnering with groups and letting it be successful has really pushed visitation to, I think, the success that we have post-COVID. I really do think being open year-round is very important for the center. And one of the ways that, of course, we use the center on a regular basis is something that's in our professional services agreement. It's to provide high-quality programming to engage specifically youth by bringing the river to life for our young people. And so this year we had 2,200 or so participants in our programs. I really wish we would have squeezed in one more program because we did 99 programs. And it's like when you count at the end of the year and you're mad at yourself that you didn't count and then do like a New Year's Eve party. And actually the 30 outreach programs that are mentioned here are up and above that 99. So I guess really we did 129 programs, but those outreach activities were off-site. So that was us touching another 1,000 people on top of the 2,200. You can see that about 60% of our programs, 65% are for youth and family, and then Riverfest and our other programs tend to be adult focused. We do a variety of different programs. Tadpole Time is for our preschoolers, River Ranger is for elementary age, but we also partnered for yoga. We partnered to have geology walks, a boater safety course, which is great for a lot of our fishermen that come in to use the boat launch. We partnered with over 20 organizations to make these programs happen. We did a lot of them by ourselves, and when I say we, I don't mean me, because we know that I'm not that program lady, but Megan did a lot of them, and also Sophia Viansky did a lot of them. She's seen in the middle photo up there, Our Lady of the Angels presenting to their preschool class. And so we were out in the community and also at Columbia Crossing available to our community members. And so my last slide before I let Megan tell you what's coming up next is to say that we do a lot of itty-bitty things because of the partnerships that we have. People will come down and collaborate and say, like, can we do this together? Would you help us find that? And so there's a lot of things that don't end up in an annual report that are being done or I consider successes and took a lot of work. So if you haven't seen, we have a 250 long rock snake. They were all painted at Fourth Fridays over the summer last summer, and he twists around all of the outdoor landscaping at Columbia Crossing. Our free little library that was kind of abandoned by the school district has been adopted by the local Girl Scout troop, and they're doing a great job taking care of it. We coordinated trail cleanups for Hempfield School District, for local businesses. We hosted meetings for free. Megan and I, 4 days before I had a baby, I was doing a news interview to talk about local history along the Northwest River Trail. We bought brand new rocking chairs for out on the deck so that people had a safe and comfortable space, as people had literally rocked them flat over the last 8 years. Yeah, it's been a long time since we bought them. So the big stuff, the small stuff is the big stuff. And I only say all of this to use an opportunity to show you my small stuff that is now big stuff. And to say that I was not at Columbia Crossing for 3 months because I was on leave. And Megan Salvatore and Sophia Viansky had more money in facility rentals than we've ever had. They had more visitors than we've ever had. And they've done more programs than we've ever done.
So you need to have another baby.
No. That is to say that the management of Columbia Crossing, while I might not be there every single day, is with someone that loves this community, loves that river park, and wants to share the importance of this community and this river with everybody that she can. And so I'm very proud that Megan is taking over, because when I hired her, I told her I wouldn't leave, and I'm only leaving because I trust her to run this place. And so she will tell you what we're doing in 2024.
Well, thanks for that introduction. Sure some big shoes to fill. But like usual, like Hope said, you will see that a lot of these are, you'll see again every year, or, sorry guys, this is my first time. Let me just restart.
That's all right. We're pretty cool, so chill.
You do have chill vibes, I must say. But as you'll see, some of these priorities have pulled over from 2023. Although a lot of stuff has been accomplished, things like the Veterans Memorial Bridge project, we all know will be ongoing and will be taking up a big part of our life in the coming years. Coordination of Riverfest and the fundraising and everything attributed to the Bridge Burners Challenge is always a priority. You'll likely see that every year. Same with the next one. We're almost through with working on the updates and hoping to move to print for the historic map for Columbia. It's nice to update that every year. You will likely see that. We're hoping to install a new sculpture exhibit and the African American interpretive panel in the park. I think one of the most important ones, and maybe one that's most related to this council, would be the supporting the Trailtown Initiative for Lancaster County that was sort of initiated by the CDC here in Columbia. And then the last one is to expand our tourism and our heritage tourism programs in York and Lancaster County.
So she's got big shoes.
Yeah. No, thank you guys, and I look forward to working with you guys in my new position.
Do you have any questions for us? Did we keep it to 15 minutes?
I don't know, I got distracted.
Yes. It's the only goal I have, is to just be so interesting you don't know what time it is.
Yeah, I got distracted.
And I'll send you digitally the annual report that, Mark has a copy of it. Do you also need the presentation?
I have it on the,
Oh,
So-
no, never mind.
so I'll just forward that as well.
Oh, yeah, give him the clicker. We don't wanna.
I don't want to steal some extra.
And you're done, right? So I'm just gonna
Okay.
throw in a comment at the end of how proud I am of this team and the work they've done and the work they're going to be doing. It was so great to be able to increase our capacity as an organization by looking inside our own team and being able to recognize talent and give people more responsibility. So it's really great. The other thing I want to mention, and it's not in Columbia, but I think over the next decade or so, it's going to make a big difference for Columbia, is in December, our organization, the Susquehanna National Heritage Area, was successful in acquiring the Mifflin Farm right across the river, 90-acre Underground Railroad Civil War battle site. That land and Columbia are intertwined in history. And we're going to be spending a significant amount of time, money, and resources over the next decade to turn it into the Susquehanna Discovery Center and Heritage Park, and bring the primary visitor interpretive center for both counties, for the whole heritage area, right here across the river. So we think it's going to be great for Wrightsville and Columbia together. We're looking forward to doing that. So when you don't see me much, you'll know where I am dealing with that. Or on the boat, so. But thank you again.
Yeah, I do have one question. I just thought of this.
Are you gonna ask?
I see Cuffs Run is back in the news. Are we voicing our opposition to that?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, we hope everybody will. I don't know if you're all familiar with this, but it's the large 1,000-acre pump storage facility. It's been proposed at the scenic Cuffs Run stream down south of, north of Safe Harbor Dam on the York County side, south of Long Level. We have been working for a year now with the Lancaster Conservancy, Lower Susquehanna Riverkeeper, Farm and Natural Lands Trust of York County, and the Cuffs Run Alliance, which is a local group of residents that'll be affected in opposing this project. Our board of directors went on record a year ago, March, to oppose it. We had a small victory in the initial denial of a preliminary application to the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission last fall, but we knew it was kind of a short pause, and now the developer has resubmitted and their application's been submitted. But public comment is, you can comment the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission until March 31st, right?
31st.
Yeah, do you want to share?
I was gonna say, if anybody wants anything, we've created material, and we have it on display at Columbia Crossing, actually, because we've had some inquiries about how to learn more about the project and how to oppose the project. And so, in partnership, we actually have flyers that describe the project and then show you a QR code on how to immediately comment from FERC. And we plan to put it out in a constant contact this week for people to have a direct link to it. So if anybody, I think everybody that's on council gets our emails. But if you needed more information, I have it at the center for people to take, because we've had a lot of inquiries,
And
which
we're
is
not,
great.
we're not opposing this project because it's a big project. We have lots of big projects along the Susquehanna River. We have hydro dams, we have a pump storage facility at Muddy Run, but most of that infrastructure, the newest one of that infrastructure was built 50 years ago. And it's sort of like the story of progress on the river of the past. The story of the future is outdoor recreation, heritage tourism, community revitalization, small business development. And we think this project will, it's gonna take 1,000 acres of farms preserved with conservation easements, the river hills. It's gonna take part of the Mason-Dixon Trail and require it to be relocated. It's gonna build roads and a huge dike right down on the riverfront in an area that's very pristine right now. We get you back out in the boat, again, we'll take you down and show you from the water. You can see it from the NOAA low-grade trail. It's gonna have a huge impact. And, the developers of this are two guys from Reading. They're trying to get this approved as a preliminary application, then sell it to a bunch of investors. And this is the third time for one of them. They've tried this over the last 50 years, and we really need to put a stop to it. One of the key things they promote is that if this gets built, they'll create 25 permanent jobs. 25. So between our organization, Lancaster Conservancy, Farm and Natural Lands Trust, Lower Susquehanna Riverkeeper, we're approaching 40, 50 jobs doing land conservation, heritage tourism, recreation. If this project's projected to cost $2.5 billion. If those investors give us $2.5 billion for our organizations, we'll blow them away on number of jobs. So, in any event, I'm getting on my soapbox.
Yeah.
But
No,
we need everybody that feels this way to register comments with the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, participate in the process.
Is York County opposing
Yeah,
it?
actually,
Has their planning commission weighed in yet?
Not officially, because there isn't an official process for that yet. But I will say that, I don't know if you saw the news, but 2 weeks ago, we participated with the other partners in a press conference over at John Wright Restaurant, hosted by Congressman Smucker. And Congressman Smucker, every single legislator, senators, House members from York and Lancaster counties, and all 6 commissioners signed on to a letter opposing this project. I've never seen such bi-county bipartisanship on any issue in the 21 years I've been back home here working at this kind of work. So the York County Commissioners are officially on record as opposing it, and the Lancaster County Commissioners,
Yeah, we
and
knew
all the
they were.
legislators.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lancaster County Planning Commission was waiting to jump in to see what York County Planning Commission did,
Yeah,
because it's sort of like, you don't wanna jump on your neighbor's toes, and
Well,
that was kind of the way,
The county commissioners lead that,
yeah.
lead that planning commission, so they're unofficially, opposed to it. And, you can submit individual comments to FERC, or you can do it as a body, you can pass a resolution and,
Submit as a council, yeah.
submit as a council. So there's a variety of ways, and a number of us will be doing what's called intervening in the process, officially asking to intervene and be a party to the process. If we can stop it early and before it gets too far, it's gonna be a lot easier. If this gets farther down the road, it gets harder and harder to stop a project like this, but.
We're putting as much energy in as we can right now.
Thank you for bringing it up, though. That was.
All right, I think that was it, sorry about that.
No, great teamwork.
All right. Next, thank you for coming out this evening, and thank you for providing us with the awesome report.
Thank you for letting me delay you.
No problem. We're pretty chill here,
I know you guys are.
We're like, it is what it is. All right, Mayor Lutz isn't here. Chief Brommer, do you have anything to add this evening?
Just some brief remarks, if I may. Since the shooting incident on Sunday, I've had an opportunity to speak to some of our residents, and I wanted to acknowledge the frustration and the concern about the violence we're seeing on our streets here. It is very concerning. It's very frustrating for our officers as well. This incident on Sunday, I can assure you, our officers were responded to the scene very, very quickly, within about a minute and a half, and that's unheard of as far as dispatches. Scoured the area, conducted a very thorough investigation. We're dealing with individuals who do not want to cooperate with the police department. And it's unfortunate because it's the residents of the community, or the true victims, you know, in the situation, having to deal with this in their neighborhoods. I just want to emphasize to the community that these investigations are priorities for us, highest of priorities. I can tell you the last 2 days, I spent much of my day assisting, you know, with the investigations. We want to thank the residents who did cooperate with us. We did spoke to a number of individuals. We received video, which was very helpful. But we will continue to work these investigations and do our best to, you know, bring the investigations to a successful conclusion. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next, we have the HARB Certificate of Appropriateness. Do I have a motion to approve the Certificate of Appropriateness for 17 South 3rd Street for the installation of a business sign?
So moved.
A motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Price, to approve the Certificate of Appropriateness for 17 South 3rd Street for the installation of a business sign. Does anyone have any questions, comments, concerns? I thought it was pretty straightforward.
The only-
Are you the applicant?
Hello, yes.
Hi, okay.
Hi, I'm Leah Dorlo. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, I'm part of the development around South 3rd Street.
All right.
Not the entire street, just the building.
Oh, okay.
The only comment Harb had is they looked at the hanging bracket. Did you see that?
Yes, I did
Okay.
not see the comment. But wait, did you guys ask me to differentiate which bracket we're using?
Yeah, you start out with the
This
perfect
one,
L.
right here, did you get that email? I sent it
Yes.
to Jessica.
Oh, so you are using one, not two?
Yeah, they changed it.
Yeah, the sign will be on both, like two facing, and it's just plastic. Well, it's ACM
Yeah.
substrate material.
Yeah, because when the Harb board looked at it, they were under the understanding that it was bracket style 2 that you had initially selected. They prefer one.
Okay,
So if that's the way you're going, that works great.
okay, yes, let me double check. Yeah, one, if that's okay with everyone.
Nope.
Yep, that's what they wanted, so.
Okay, great.
Yeah, and there are no conditions, listed in here, so.
Okay.
All right, any other questions, comments, concerns? No. I have a motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Price, to approve the Certificate of Appropriateness for 17 South 3rd Street for the installation of a business sign. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? All right. There you go.
Thank you.
So we'll get the form all signed.
Yeah,
and
we'll
it
get
back.
the form signed and,
Okay, so hang tight a little bit.
No,
Here.
that's
No,
fine.
I'll contact, you want to just do it now?
yeah, I can, yeah, here.
Okay.
Do you mind
Um,
signing it now, then we can get it, but then I'll get a copy of it too.
Okay, that works. Via email?
Yep. If you can come up and just sign it now, then we can take it, taken care of.
Yeah, there, do you have a pen? All right, we'll get you a copy of it then.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, could I have a motion to authorize the Columbia Historic Preservation Society to make improvements to the Columbia Market House dungeons?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilperson Stahl, second by Councilperson Price, to authorize the Columbia Historic Preservation Society to make improvements to the Columbia Market House dungeons. Any questions on this one?
Mark, do you ever see this?
We will, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And this is the very conversation I had with Chris and Rick, is that I love their drive and energy, but it's still a borough-owned property. We need to make sure it follows all proper protocols and everything.
Right.
Yeah, to keep the historical nature, you know, as much as possible what they can.
Yeah, and I trust them on that,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
that we need to know that because it's our
You know
building,
ahead
it's
of time.
our liability, it's our responsibility, so, yeah, we'll keep an eye on it.
Okay.
All right.
Is the Preservation Society, are they going to fund this through donations?
Yeah, that was the presentation they gave at the workshop, so they're raising all the money for this.
All right. Any other questions, or comments? All right, I have a motion by Councilperson Stahl, second by Councilperson Price, to authorize the Columbia Historic Preservation Society to make improvements to the Columbia Market House dungeons. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Next, could I have a motion to authorize the bill payments?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Stahl, to authorize the bill payments. Are there any questions, on the bill payments? It was all pretty much normal stuff. All right. A motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Stahl, to approve the bill payments. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Next, I think we might just skip this one and put it to the last.
I did let Michelle know she only had 30 minutes tonight. Normally we give them more time for the interview process, but I think we're gonna have to cut it short tonight.
Do I sit this vote out?
You lead the discussion.
Oh, I've heard to discuss, but.
Yeah, you gotta make like a speech. So next, we have a resolution to appoint Michelle Kaufman to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. This is new business, so if there's discussion, we have discussion, or if we wanna take action, we can take action. If we wanna let her sweat it out till the next meeting, we can, you know.
I prefer you take action, and I did officially resign.
Can we take this to executive session?
Would this be considered personnel? All right, so, would anybody like to motion to adopt resolution 2024-11, appointing Michelle Kaufman to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board?
Oh,
Second.
I have a motion.
You can get it out.
Motion by Councilperson Fisher, second by Councilperson Price, to adopt resolution 2024-11, appointing Michelle Kaufman to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Woo! Thank you for your service.
Good. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Good job, Eric, roping her in.
Yep. Next, we have a request from the Movers and Shakers Society to host their annual Luminaries on Locust event on Saturday, December 21st, 2024, from 5 p.m. until Sunday, the 22nd, at approximately 6:30 a.m. This coincides with the winter solstice. This is, I think, this will be the third year for this. Does anyone have any questions, any reason we can't take action this evening?
I think we should.
All right. who would like to make a motion to approve the, luminaries on Locust event?
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Stahl to approve the Movers and Shakers Society to host their annual Luminaries on Locust event on Saturday, December 1st, 2024, from 5 p.m. until Sunday, December 22nd, at approximately 6:30 a.m. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Next, we have the request from the Columbia United Veterans Council to host the 2024 Columbia Memorial Day Parade on Saturday, May 26th, starting at 1 p.m. using the traditional parade route. Anyone want to motion to approve that?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilperson Stahl, second by Councilperson Kaufman, to approve the request from the Columbia United Veterans Council to host the 2024 Columbia Memorial Day Parade on Sunday, May 26th, starting at 1 p.m. using the traditional parade route. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Mark, do you publish these into the website?
I do now, yeah.
So they go on the calendar?
Yep.
Okay.
Next, we have the public security for the Columbia Trinity House parking plan. Derek, you wanna just give us a background on this? I mean, we've seen these before, but
Scared right now.
just talking to the microphone, okay? It's not that bad.
Step back.
Try this one. Maybe just turn that one off.
Turn both of them on. No, it'll be all right. So this is the standard procedure for land development plans. You have a security estimate that's included in your packet. It's just there to cover the public improvements for this project and ensure it's bonded. The main public improvements that we're worried about here would be the curb and sidewalk along Mill Street there and the stormwater management for the site. So that's all that is.
I was driving by here the other week and I thought, we should probably be seeing something soon on that.
Yep. Yeah, my understanding is this is their last piece. As soon as this is set, they'll cut the bond to us and then they have everything they need to record the plan and start working.
All right. Does anyone have any concerns about taking action on this one this evening? No? Could I have a motion to approve the public security for Columbia Trinity House parking plan at $512,359.10?
So moved.
Second.
Was that Peter?
Yeah.
Motion by Councilperson Stahl, second by Councilperson Price, to approve the public security for Columbia Trinity House parking plan at $512,359.10. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Next, we have a consideration of a consulting agreement to work with the Historic Preservation Trust of Lancaster County for technical support to the certificate of appropriateness applications and other work as needed. This is for HARB. Mark, you wanna take it away on this one?
So, we've been talking about getting some technical support for the historic board. And Jessica Fieldhouse, reached out to the Lancaster County Historic Preservation Trust. And they were very quick to say, you know, we'd love to come in and sit down and talk with you. We provide this level of service to other communities. So Jessica and I met with the executive director, and it was a very encouraging, very positive meeting. They have the expertise in their staff and their team to help us out in preparing the staff reports for the certificates of appropriateness. But that's not where it ends. They are able to help us out, and they have already agreed to look over our shoulder, if you will, as we redo the historic survey, and then help us look at amendments that may be needed to the ordinance and look at partnering with us to develop educational materials to give out to homeowners, et cetera. So I see this as more than just helping us prepare staff reports. I think this is just a great connection and a great relationship to add value and keep improving the quality of our historic resources here in town. So I would ask that if we could approve this tonight, we can get started and get them on board and get them working.
Anyone have any questions, comments, or concerns?
I think it should be stated that they charge a fee for the,
Per review. they
per
charge it.
review, yes. And with us voting tonight, we'll authorize that fee.
And
And I agree with this service. I'm not saying, I just saying publicly, we should state that there's a fee involved.
And
Yes.
I want to be clear, I have no intentions at this point to make this fee a straight pass-through to the applicants. Because right now, our application fee for HARB is $25, the fee they're charging is $200 per application. I don't think that's something we want to fully pass on to the applicants right now, my opinion. I look at it as almost like the same as the fee that we paid Suzanne Stallings when she was here. That's a
Right.
consulting fee for the professional review.
Right.
Yeah, and we didn't pass that
No,
through.
we did not.
Mhm.
But I appreciate Eric, you bringing that up, because I want to make it clear to the public that this is not just a straight pass-through fee.
Right.
Is this something that would be used every time?
Yes.
Every HARB review?
For every COA that goes before the board, if we have any in-kind replacements, et cetera, that are administrative approvals, they would not be getting those, unless we felt like we had a question or something.
So what's the point of having a board if we have to send it to a third party anyways?
So the third party, Pete, gives a detailed description of the property itself.
Mhm.
They don't make decisions, they just give a complete detailed
They
description.
write the staff report for the
Right.
board to
And they
review.
say like, oh, these are the design standards that
Mhm.
would be impacted by this certificate of appropriateness.
Right.
And this is why it fits and doesn't fit, and it
Mhm.
gives more direction that way.
Now, we are getting a survey done this year, correct?
Mhm.
So will we not have access to all the details of the properties that are within
We do.
HARB through that?
We will.
That the HARB board will have access to?
Mhm. So what service the trust is gonna provide if somebody's making changes to that facade?
Mm-hmm.
Are those changes in compliance with the Secretary of Interior guidelines? And that's where I think having that technical expertise is, if they're changing and they're gonna remove a front porch, or they're gonna change the roof line a little bit, or make an adjustment, they have the expertise to say, you know what, that will be okay, cause it's gonna fit in the general character of the thing, or say, you know what, no, this will completely change the character of this building, and it'll take it from a contributing structure to one that has lost its significance in the district.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that level of technicality is what is gonna add to the ability for the HARB board to make good recommendations. You guys will see those same reports when you make your final decision here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, we really need
Yeah.
someone to use like fenestration and
Look at you throwing out this big word.
all those big words
Can
that
you
I
define that for
like
me?
to say. Yeah,
What's
fenestration.
appropriate for this?
Right, so my understanding was to have a HARB board, we have an architect
Mhm.
on. So, I mean, off the top of just hearing about this, it seems a little bit redundant to me, but, yeah.
So Suzanne did an incredible job.
Yeah.
And the reports were nice and clean. And as Heather said, she laid out the standards as well
Mm-hmm.
and how they affect the property. Technically, I guess you could get all the information you wanted through the documentation we're gonna do, through the web. I think it's more the Harb Board's decision to take the information and make a decision upon it, not so much do the research of the,
Yeah. So now that she's no longer doing that is what brought this to bear.
yes. And the architect that you brought up, that's, I can't say that word.
Specifically?
Thank you. We went out and looked for an architect because that's required for our,
The CLG.
Mhm.
certification.
Mhm.
so that's why we really wanted an architect on the board.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think
It's hard to get
when
into.
we lost Suzanne, that really, I think that weakened her work, the loss of her work weakened our board, and then, and now, I mean, it's no secret, we're struggling with some of the commitment of the board members to ask them to put in more, I mean, we
Mhm.
can't get them to show up to a meeting, much less, are they really gonna do that research?
Yeah. Understood.
And it's nice to have the professional opinion behind them
Mhm.
for the Harb, so the Harb doesn't look like they're just out there making decisions based on, well, you're
Yep.
not qualified to make the decision. Yes, we are, right here's the information.
Yeah. All right, that answers my question.
Any other questions, comments, or concerns? Did anyone want to make a motion to authorize staff to execute a consulting agreement to work with the Historic Preservation Trust of Lancaster County for technical support to the COA applications and other work as needed for Harb?
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Stahl, to authorize staff to,
Kelly.
or, I'm sorry,
That's okay.
Kaufman, second by Councilperson Murphy, to authorize staff to execute a consulting agreement to work with the Historic Preservation Trust of Lancaster County for technical support for Harb. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Alright. Excuse me. Next, we have, to consider an agreement with Klein, Kreider, and Good Auctioneers for the sale, by auction of public land. This is the Blue Lane property and also the
South
South
12th
12th Street property.
So at the previous meeting, you guys did, we had this discussion and authorized us to move forward to find an auctioneer. This is a firm I've worked with in the past to sell public land. There's several in the county. I know them, I trust them. They've done a good job in the past, so the staff met with them. I feel like they would do a good job for us to get this land sold.
Will this be an on-site sale? Will this
Yes.
be, okay,
On-site and online.
okay.
And we don't have the reserves set for the property yet, correct?
We will set them prior to. One of the things that we did discuss briefly prior to bringing this forward is the fact that I will work with them now to set a reserve value for both of these properties. And council, of course, has the opportunity to accept or reject the bids. If you feel like you're not getting where you want to, we can reject it all and just move on, or if you do like them, then we can accept the bid. If this all moves forward, they will begin the process, and we're looking at doing the auction in early July.
Oh, the thing here said early June.
Early
June.
June?
June first.
June
Say
first.
we're looking at June.
June, let's get it sold.
Yes.
Sold.
June 1st, not
sold,
July.
Sold,
Yeah,
yep,
sold.
June. Alright. Any questions? Anyone with reservations on voting on this one tonight? No? Do I have a motion to authorize staff to enter an agreement with Klein, Kreider, and Good Auctioneers for the sale by auction of public land?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilperson Stahl, second by Councilperson Kaufman, to authorize staff to enter into an agreement with Klein, Kreider, and Good Auctioneers. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Right?
Aye. Anyone opposed? Next, Engineer Ronaldo would like to advertise bids for the CDBG improvement project located on the 200 block of Union Street. Would you like to add anything to this request?
Just excited to get started on another one of these CDBG projects. So, pretty straightforward, following a similar procedure that we have in prior years. Anybody has any questions? Ready to get going?
Ready to rock and roll? Anyone have any reservations on voting on this one tonight? No? Do I have a motion to authorize staff and the borough engineer to advertise for bids for the CDBG project located on the 200 block of Union?
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Councilperson Stahl, second by Councilperson Kaufman, to authorize staff and the borough engineer to advertise bids for the CDBG project. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Next, we have a part-time parking enforcement position. Tony Shelley. Part-time parking enforcement position at a salary of $19 an hour, contingent upon successful completion of medical exam, drug screening, and background checks. Does anyone have any questions on this one? No? Jack, you look confused. Did you know this was on here?
I did.
Oh, okay. You just had that look like, whoa. Oh, okay. You just got distracted. Sorry. We got it. Pretty chill tonight. Did anyone have any questions or concerns about actioning this one this evening? Did anyone want to make a motion to authorize staff to hire Tony Shelley for the part-time parking enforcement position?
Second.
I have a motion by Councilperson Price, second by Councilperson Stahl, to authorize staff to hire Tony Shelley for the part-time parking enforcement position. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Next, we have a few pay increases to consider. We have Matt Peak, the property inspector. It's proposed a 5% increase for passing the fire inspector certification and taking on the role of fire safety inspections. This means we won't be contracting them out with Chief Rhino. We'll be able to bring them back in-house, which was our goal all along. And Paula Diffenderfer, the code compliance manager. It's proposed a 5% increase for additional responsibilities related to managing the front office and zoning oversight. Are there any questions on either of these?
We have to do them individually, right?
Yes, we do, but I figured if there's questions,
No,
we'll
no.
take the questions.
No, I appreciate that. I think Matt is doing a great job, and
I think it's,
Paula has taken
yeah.
a lot more.
I think it's great that Matt has stepped up and wanted to, really taken the initiative to learn so many different functions, and is really, has embraced this as his career and is doing such a great job.
He truly has, and these classes were over a period of, I think, about 6 weeks or so. Some of the classes were in person, he had to travel to the site to do it. You saw the energy in him, just the way he studied for and prepared and jumped into this right away. And again, this is, when we hired him, he made the comment about the fact that he sees himself moving up in this whole path. And, our goal has been to incrementally bring some of these things back in-house so that we can do this. And Matt is really working, and Matt and Paul are both working hard to make sure this happens, so proud of both of them.
Does anyone have concerns about actioning these this evening? No. Could I have a motion to approve the 5% increase for Matt Peak for passing the fire inspector certification and taking on the role of fire safety inspections.
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Councilperson Price, second by Councilperson Stahl, to approve the 5% increase for Matt Peak for passing the fire inspector certification and taking on the role of fire safety inspections. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? And could I have a motion to approve the 5% increase for Paula Diffenderfer for taking on additional responsibilities related to managing the front office and zoning oversight?
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Councilperson Price, second by Councilperson Stahl, to approve a 5% increase for code compliance manager Paula Diffenderfer for additional responsibilities related to managing the front office and zoning oversight. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? All right.
Heather, do we still have Todd?
Yeah, Todd, we still have you, right? Bueller,
I haven't heard him, Bueller?
Bueller.
I haven't heard him vote in the last.
No.
I'm sorry, I'm here, yeah, I said aye.
Okay, good,
Oh,
thank you.
okay.
We didn't hear you.
We just wanted to make sure.
Are you on mute?
Were you drinking coffee? All right, staff reports, comments, and announcements. Solicitor Gable?
Not too much to report tonight. We have been working on several, of those liens. I'm hopeful that we can get a couple more of those resolved here. We are working on the largest lien. The Sheriff's Office is taking their time serving things. I'll just leave it at that, but we will work within there. There's not much we can do. They'll serve it when they serve it. And then we'll move forward on that. And there was another one that we spent quite a bit of time on that Mark was able to get resolved with the residents. So that's another nice thing to get done. That was one of the older ones that we had, so that was very good. I also had a conversation today about the wastewater treatment plant. I think there's been some moving pieces on that, but I think we have finally gotten to a solution on moving that to settlement. So we're gonna start that process right now to get that done. Trust me, I know. There was a little bit of miscommunication, I think, between the current tenant and his attorney and what they were trying to do. So we're working on that, and we'll hopefully have that ready to go here very shortly, so.
What about the lease for the firehouse?
We are currently working on that. We're waiting to get a market analysis on that, so we know what we should be charging for that, and then we'll get that working, yep.
Good, because I can't stand losing money. on
I
that any
understand
longer.
completely, yes, yep.
All right. Secretary Treasurer, Mr. Stivers.
Thank you. So, a few big things. As we all know, the AV system has been installed. We'll keep working out the bugs, but I think it's gonna do well for us, so I'm glad that's it and done. As I mentioned before the meeting, we're recording this one tonight. We'll listen to it, test it, do some test runs before the workshop, and then Wilson and I did a test run with some very deep and moving recitations there of Billy Shakespeare. We are able to broadcast on YouTube Live now. So that is up and working. So when we go and we start live streaming, we will live stream right to YouTube, which I think is gonna be a benefit to us. So we'll keep testing and get the system out and check it. And like I said, we'll work through the mic situation and get that balance out better, but it's in and up and running. And the team did a great job. Second thing is kind of exciting. With regards to the McGinnis project, kind of a different side trip, if you will. ECS, who's been our environmental partner on this, asked if we wanted to submit a proposal to speak at the statewide Brownfields Conference. So our proposal has been selected. So there's a team of us. It's myself, Kay Linnell from ECS, Rick Jackson from ELA Group, and John B. Miller will be the panelist, up in State College in the end of March to present this project at the Brownfields Conference, which is really kinda cool
Yeah.
to get this thing. And a lot of people are interested in not just the fact that we are redeveloping a brownfield site that happens all the time, but the team that came together and how we got the funding together to do this, really is quite an impressive story. So, that it'll be exciting to go up there and be able to present what we're doing here at the conference, so that's exciting.
That's really
Um,
cool.
Yeah, it's kind of a big deal for us, and I think it really highlights everything that's going on. I will say that the EDC of Lancaster is also going to be highlighting the McGinnis project in one of their upcoming publications, talking about, how far they've come and the different projects they've worked on around the county, and McGinnis is gonna be a highlight of that whole process. So that's some really nice press coming up, on things that are happening. Speaking of that, if you haven't been down Manor Street recently, the sign is up. With the approval of the checks tonight, that's the final, we needed one more check to get the ENS plan, submitted into the County Conservation District. That'll go in tomorrow, get that in. We expect a fairly quick turnaround on that, report, which would allow us then to begin phase one of the remediation work, which in layman's terms means we can start moving dirt out there. And
Oh, is there gonna be like a hard hat
hard
and shovel
hats and big
thing?
shovels and all kinds of fun things
Cool.
going out there, so.
That's sweet.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming, but it's good. I wanna just highlight the fact that I know we haven't talked about the Ridge Avenue project in a bit, but, Jake and his crew have been out there doing a lot of cleaning and grubbing and working on, some of the little parts and pieces that you may not see. But they've been out there, trying to get the site ready to begin more complete usage of the site. In the far eastern edge, there's a whole row, where the fence has been completely obliterated, I guess the best way to say it. So he's out there, he has to clean both sides of the fence line out for us to get in there and get the fence fixed and repaired, so he's been working on that side as well, so things are moving out there. And if you guys don't know, we are utilizing the site now, we've been storing some of our larger pieces of equipment out there, so the site is being used. Derek and I had an interesting meeting talking about lighting on the Walnut Street project. I didn't realize we could spend a whole hour talking about light poles, but apparently you can. Anything you wanna jump in on that one?
No.
Sir Engineer?
No,
I didn't even
smile.
wanna bring it up
Yeah,
tonight.
so
Tell me
the-
that smile.
The issue at a very high level and a short summary here, the issue that we're having is we need to ensure anything on that street meets PennDOT approval standards. We are proposing to utilize the same lights that we have on Third Street and also down in River Park, which were put in when Third Street was a state route. So we thought it would be easy. They have no issue with the lighting head. The issue is with the poles. The poles must meet a rigorous structural analysis to prove that they are adequate, I don't know, to not fall over. But PennDOT has a very rigorous inspection procedure to certify the poles. So unfortunately,
they
the
do.
manufacturer who makes the lumen heads does not have a PennDOT approved pole. So we've worked through that. I believe we have come up with an alternative, utilizing another company's pole that looks almost identical, and we can put our normal lumen head on it that we've used everywhere else, and we can put the clamshell on the bottom. It might not match perfectly, but I don't think outside of hearing it in this meeting that you're gonna go out and see a difference. But, yeah, so that was a lot of time that didn't seem like it should be, but everything with this project has been very complicated and technical.
I'll say our consultant who's doing the lighting plan has been great to work with, and they're doing a
Yes.
great job guiding us through this whole process. So we'll get it all done, but just a quick update to know that things are moving. And the last thing I wanted to say is, a shout out to the MAC and their Fourth Friday efforts and all that are going on. The chocolate meltdown that happened was a huge success here, and brings a lot of people into town. And reading some of the stories and emails from some of the businesses that were there, the number of people who came from out of town and even from out of the area to participate in this is impressive. So, great job to our merchants in attracting people downtown and making for, a really great experience for a lot of people. So it's encouraging to see the town come together and work hard on something like that. Last thing, real quick, with the workshop last night, if any of you guys have items for your areas of leadership that you want to discuss specifically, I know Kelly has some ordinances we want to bring forward. If anybody else has anything, please get it to me right away so we can get that on the agenda and get it out for next week. Thank you.
All right. Borough Council comments, council members. We'll start on the phone with Councilperson Brigard.
I'm good, thank you.
All right, Councilperson Fisher,
Nothing here, thank you.
Councilperson Kaufman.
The only thing I wanted to mention is last Thursday we went to the Market House for the seminar series, and that one was on the
Underground Railroad.
Underground Railroad. It was wonderful. I think there's 5 more lecture series coming up every Thursday night this month, and next month it's free. And it was a full house too. So get there early. So
All right, awesome. Councilperson Price.
Nothing, thank you.
Councilperson Murphy.
Nothing to add.
Nothing.
I have a question. When you were talking about the lights, it made me think of this. We're not gonna have to move those ones from the highway department up to Ridge Avenue, are we? We're gonna be able to use them before they have to be moved, aren't we?
Oh, I wish I could tell you that was true. They're going in McGinnis, but the heads are stored there. The poles are not. So we keep the heads are inside in the shed. But the poles are going to be moved.
Gift that keeps on giving.
Just keeps on giving.
All right. I wanted to announce, I'm seeing the grumblings online. I know that our highway department has been starting to run the sweeper to get a jump on some of the worst of the first couple of weeks. So if people see the sweeper, the first official move your car or get a ticket day is March 11th, but you may see the sweeper running before then just to get some of the worst areas cleaned up before, because those first couple of weeks we tend to have a lot of debris the first couple of weeks. So don't worry, you're not getting a ticket until March 11th. And I also wanted to announce next month, the chief and I, at least the two of us, maybe others, will be attending a 2-day conference put on by the Steinman Foundation and CHI discussing community violence and, all things related to that. So that should be interesting. And I believe that's it. I missed the lecture on Thursday. I really wanted to go, but I didn't make it.
So Heather, one last thing I forgot. And you reminded me it was safety and security. Yeah, do you want to jump in on that one, or do you want to?
Yes, I forgot, because I didn't have my thing to write it down. One of the auditors are here. We're in the middle of the audit. One of the items that has been identified, and this had been identified over the years periodically from Sager Swisher also, and that is the need to get more security around our finance area so that it's not just out in the open. So we really, we've talked about it before, getting the walls up to get a locking area for around finance. So we would like to get that working. It's still under discussion if there will be barbed wire or concertina wire around the top. And the gun turrets are also still pending. I wanted to bring it up to see if anyone had any concerns, questions about that. It's gonna be about $10,000, to get it all done, to do, cause we have to get the architect to do the plans and everything, and of course, we get building permits, cause, we're not gonna have a resident do something that we're not doing ourselves. But it will resolve a final audit issue, and make us more secure. Then it'll come out of the line item for the, building improvements for this year. So,
So, if you guys are okay, I've already talked to one architect and gotten some prices on developing the bid packet, or the permit packet to get that done. Is that something you guys wanna see and bring in or approve? Are you guys okay if I just move forward and get that stuff done?
I'm okay if you move forward.
yeah, that was kind of my thought
Yeah,
too,
same.
was this is one of those audit issues, and
Yeah.
If when we get the bid and we realize the cost exceeds the 10,600 or 12,000, whatever it is currently, this will have to go to bid, then we'll have to come back to you. But at least to get the construction costs done and the drawings done, so we can get that moved forward. I will say that one of the other pieces that we have talked about for several years now is developing a better access way to the clock tower itself. Right now, it's a matter of putting a ladder up in the finance department, climbing up, disassembling a section of the roof panels, climbing back down, raising the ladder back up again, going back up to the top, moving a panel out of the way, coming back down again, going back up, putting the ladder all the way up, going up through that hatchway, and then you climb the stairs to get in. And we would like to at least get a price quote on putting in an access way that's a little safer, a little more secure than going through all that process now. The way I thought I'd do that is bid it put it together as an alternate, and if we feel like the cost is too high, we have it, we know what it's gonna cost, we can do it later. If we feel like it's all reasonable, we wanna get it all done now, we can, so I'll let you know. But I just wanna get an idea of what the cost is gonna be to put that in.
sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
And also, stay tuned for, more security upgrades related to technology.
Yep.
And so forth. Citium is doing a great job getting us moved on to the appropriate type software, moving us from a commercial platform into the government platform, which is where we should be because it has extra protections, and so forth. So there's gonna be some of that stuff coming as well. All right. Announcement of next meeting at 7 PM on Tuesday, March 5th. Council will hold a workshop. Could I have, and this evening, we will be adjourning to executive session to discuss personnel issues. Could I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilperson Price, second by Councilperson Stahl, to adjourn at 8:24 PM to executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, we are adjourned.